So picture this. You walk into the health food aisle of like a really high-end grocery store. You know the exact aisle I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely. The lighting is slightly dimmer. It's very aesthetic.
Right. The lighting is dimmer. The shelves are lined with these minimalist matte finish bags. And everything just seems to have this glowing aura of wellness around it.
Yeah, and a premium price tag to match.
Exactly. You pick up a tiny pouch of, I don't know, imported, shade-grown, antioxidant-infused berry powder, and it costs more than your first car.
It is a remarkably effective illusion, to be honest.
It really is, because we've been conditioned to think that health equals wealth. Like, we internalize that price tag and tell ourselves that if we want to achieve optimal nutrition, this luxury premium is just, the price of admission.
Right. We look at that tiny expensive pouch, and the implicit message is that the nutrients inside are somehow superior. Like they're somehow more biologically effective than what you'd find in the rest of the store.
Which is crazy when you actually think about it.
It is, because the cellular reality is entirely different. I mean, your digestive system does not have a barcode scanner.
I love that. Your digestive system does not have a barcode scanner. That's actually the perfect way to frame our mission today.
Yeah, it really sets the stage.
Because we are looking at a massive stack of research today on budget-friendly superfoods. And in this deep dive, we are going to completely dismantle this idea that a highly nutritious diet requires a luxury budget.
We really are.
We're diving deep into the science of nutrient density to prove to you, listening right now, that some of the most powerful foods on the planet are basically hiding in plain sight, and they are shockingly affordable.
They really are. Because, the human body is essentially a sophisticated chemical processing plant.
Right.
It takes the raw materials you consume and breaks them down into usable components. So amino acids, glucose, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals.
Just the basic building blocks.
Exactly. And when we strip away the marketing, the branding, the lifestyle associations, the data clearly shows that your body can extract the exact same biological value from a 50-cent serving of everyday staples as it can from, like, a $30 wellness product.
Okay, let's unpack that word right away, actually, because superfood, I feel like that word has been entirely hijacked by marketing departments.
Oh, 100%.
Because many families, they desperately want to eat healthier, but they are terrified of the cost. Because they assume a superfood has to be this exotic ingredient imported from a rainforest somewhere.
The irony there is that superfood isn't even a scientifically recognized term.
Wait, really? It's not regulated?
No, not at all by the FDA. It is purely a marketing category. In clinical nutrition, we don't look for superfoods. We look for nutrient density.
Okay, nutrient density. What does that actually mean in practice?
So we analyze the ratio of beneficial nutrients, things like fiber, protein, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, compared to the total calorie count of the food. When you look through that specific lens, a true superfood is simply an efficient delivery system for those vital compounds.
It kind of reminds me of the fashion industry, actually.
How so?
Well, paying for a premium, heavily marketed superfood powder is basically like buying a designer white t-shirt. You are paying a massive markup for the label on the collar, the aesthetic of the store, the celebrity endorsement.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. But if we put that fabric under a microscope, the raw cotton threads are virtually identical to the basic white t-shirt you can buy at a normal department store for a fraction of the price. You're paying for the hype, not a fundamentally better shirt.
What's fascinating here is the liberation that comes when you apply that logic to your plate.
Yeah, you don't need the designer label for your food.
Exactly. The foundational components of human health just do not require a premium price tag. If your goal is to build a robust immune system, maintain stable energy, support cellular repair...
The stuff we want.
Right. The necessary raw materials for all of that are heavily concentrated in some of the most aggressively priced, unglamorous foods in the supermarket.
Okay, so if the body only cares about raw materials, then the smartest place to start building our nutrition strategy isn't the flashy, fresh perimeter of the store. It's the middle aisles.
Yes, the pantry.
The pantry. The sources we're looking at highlight the shelf-stable aisles as an absolute treasure trove of nutrient density. And they start with something incredibly basic, which is oats.
Oats are consistently ranked as one of the single best nutritional bargains available anywhere in the world.
But to understand why they are a superfood, we kind of have to look at the mechanics of how they behave in your digestive tract, right?
Yes, because oats are incredibly dense in a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan.
Okay, beta-glucan, I definitely seen that term on oatmeal containers, but what is it actually doing once we eat it?
Well, when beta-glucan interacts with water in your stomach, it forms this thick, viscous gel.
Ew, a jab.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but it's amazing. This gel physically slows down the emptying of your stomach and delays the absorption of nutrients, particularly sugars, into your bloodstream.
Oh, okay.
So instead of the rapid spike and subsequent crash in blood sugar that you get from like refined simple carbohydrates.
Like eating a donut or something.
Right. Instead of that, the beta-glucan gel ensures a slow, steady, controlled release of glucose.
So the fiber acts almost like a biological sponge. It soaks up fluid, expands, and basically creates a traffic jam in your gut that regulates how fast the energy gets released.
That is an excellent visualization, and because of that biological sponge effect, your body feels full for hours.
Which is great for just getting through the morning.
Exactly, and furthermore, as that beta-glucan travels into the intestines, it actually binds to cholesterol-rich bile acids.
Wait, it binds to cholesterol.
It does. It binds to them and physically pulls them out of your body, which is the mechanism behind why oats are universally recommended for cardiovascular health. Yeah, you are getting profound metabolic regulation from a cylindrical cardboard container that costs, what, pennies per serving?
That's wild. And they're so versatile, too. You can do classic oatmeal, overnight oats, throw them in smoothies to thicken them up, or make homemade energy bites. It's just a phenomenal foundation.
It really is.
And speaking of phenomenal foundations, the data heavily emphasizes another pantry staple, dry beans and lentils. Black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas. The sources point out that dry beans are the most economical protein source on the planet.
They are, but we really shouldn't reduce them to just cheap protein.
Fair enough. What else is going on there?
It's the structural synergy of the whole food that makes them remarkable. Beans and lentils provide a robust profile of plant-based amino acids, sure, but they sit alongside heavy doses of iron and folate.
Folate, okay.
That's a B vitamin, right? Yes, vitamin B9. And it is critical because your body uses it as a fundamental building block to synthesize and repair DNA.
So you are literally providing the raw materials for cellular replication.
Exactly. And the fiber content is just massive.
Yeah, beans are famous for their fiber, let's say.
Right. And it serves a dual purpose. Part of that fiber slows digestion, just like the oats, keeping you satiated. But a significant portion of it is prebiotic fiber.
Prebiotic, not probiotic. What's the difference?
Prebiotic fiber means it passes through your stomach undigested and arrives in your colon to serve as a primary food source for your gut microbiome.
Ah, so it feeds the good bacteria.
Precisely. By eating a cheap bowl of lentil soup or black bean chili, you are actively cultivating the healthy bacteria that regulate your immune system.
Okay, I am entirely on board with oats and beans, but here is where I have to push back on these sources.
Oh, let's hear it.
Because they also list natural peanut butter and canned tuna as superfoods.
Yeah.
And let's be real, I look at a sticky jar of peanut butter and I see a nostalgic, calorie-dense childhood snack.
Sure.
And I look at a dusty can of tuna and see a desperate last-minute lunch. Are we really elevating these to the same tier as, like, an organic acai bowl?
It's a valid skepticism, largely because, again, we associate superfoods with pristine aesthetics.
Right, the glowing aura.
Exactly. But let's look at the biology. Natural peanut butter, meaning the only ingredients are peanuts and maybe salt, completely avoiding the hydrogenated oils found in the processed versions.
Okay, so the kind you have to stir.
Yes, the kind you stir. It is a highly efficient source of monounsaturated fats. Your body requires dietary fat to absorb vital nutrients like vitamins A, D, E, and K, and to synthesize essential hormones.
So it's not just empty calories.
Not at all. Peanut butter delivers those essential fats alongside a solid hit of protein.
Okay, fair enough. But what about the canned tuna?
Tuna is arguably one of the most vital superfoods on this list because of a specific compound, omega-3 fatty acids.
Which we normally associate with expensive, wild-caught salmon fillets, not a $2 can of tuna.
Yes, and while salmon is fantastic, a simple, unglamorous can of chunk-light tuna provides a highly concentrated dose of those exact same omega-3s.
Really? The exact same?
The exact same. And the mechanism here is fascinating. When you consume omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, your body physically incorporates them into the cell membranes of your tissues.
Oh, wow.
They actually replace a different pro-inflammatory fatty acid called arachidonic acid.
So by replacing the structural building blocks of your cells with omega-3s, you are actively reducing systemic inflammation at a cellular level.
Precisely. It protects your cardiovascular system and supports brain health.
So even though it's sitting in a tin can on a dusty shelf, the fuel inside is doing elite-level maintenance work on your cellular infrastructure.
That's a great way to put it. The packaging doesn't dictate the biochemistry.
You can just mix it into salads, grain bowls, wraps, and get premium biological benefits. Okay, I'm convinced. Pantry staples clearly give us macronutrients, stability, and incredible long-term value.
Definitely.
But humans cannot survive on dry goods and canned fish alone. I mean, we need active, fresh micronutrients. We need produce.
They do.
But the fresh produce section is usually where people feel the budgets start to stretch, especially when recipes call for, like, delicate microgreens or out-of-season exotic fruits. So how do we extract maximum value here without breaking the bank?
The strategy in the fresh produce aisle is to look for the underdogs.
The underdogs, I like that.
We want to identify the ingredients that offer massive physical volume and exceptional nutrient density, but lack the marketing prestige of the trendier vegetables.
Yeah.
And sweet potatoes are the perfect starting point.
I do love sweet potatoes. You can bake them, roast them, mash them into soups, but functionally, what is happening in the body when we eat them?
Well, the most prominent feature of a sweet potato is that vibrant orange color, right?
Yeah.
That color is a direct visual indicator of a compound called beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is a provitamin.
What does that mean, a provitamin?
It means that when you consume it, your body uses specific enzymes to cleave that molecule in half, converting it into active vitamin A, which is also known as retinol.
Retinol, like the ingredient in high-end skincare products.
The very same. Vitamin A is crucial for maintaining the integrity of your skin and mucous membranes.
Oh, which are like your body's first line of defense against pathogens.
Exactly. It also plays a central role in translating light into nerve signals in your retina, which is why it's so vital for vision.
Wow, okay.
Sweet potatoes deliver a massive payload of beta-carotene alongside complex carbohydrates and fiber, making them an incredibly efficient foundational energy source.
Okay, so that's a big win. But I used to think of our next underdog vegetable as just cheap, watery filler. But the sources highlight cabbage as one of the most overlooked nutritional powerhouses in the store.
Oh, the lack of respect for cabbage is a purely cultural phenomenon.
Really?
Biologically, it belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family.
Right.
That puts it in the exact same botanical category as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale.
Wait, cabbage is basically just kale that hasn't hired a publicist?
That is a highly accurate way to put it, honestly.
Yeah.
Cruciferous vegetables like cabbage contain a unique group of sulfur-containing chemicals called glucosinolates.
Okay, glucosinolates.
When you chew or chop cabbage, you break its cell walls. This triggers an enzymatic reaction that converts those glucosinolates into active compounds called isothiocyanates.
That sounds incredibly scientific for a side of coleslaw.
It is. These compounds are heavily studied because they essentially act as a chemical defense system in your body.
What do they do?
They help neutralize free radicals and activate detoxification enzymes in your liver.
That's amazing.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture from a budget perspective, the structural durability of cabbage makes it unparalleled.
Oh, because it lasts forever.
Right. If you buy a plastic clamshell of delicate mixed greens, you have perhaps 4 days before it turns to slime in your fridge. A dense, tightly packed head of cabbage will last for weeks.
It's basically the Swiss Army knife of the vegetable drawer. You buy one head of it, and it magically transforms into a week's worth of completely different meals.
Exactly.
You can slice it thin for slaws, throw it into stir-fries where it actually retains its crunch, or simmer it into soups. It's incredibly versatile.
It really is.
And rounding out our fresh produce underdogs, the sources point us to the humblest fruit of all, the banana.
Bananas are a logistical marvel.
They really are. They are available year-round, completely portable in their own natural, biodegradable wrapper, and usually cost like a few cents a piece.
Yes, and they provide natural, easily digestible carbohydrates for immediate energy. But their true superpower is potassium.
We always hear about potassium for muscle cramps, but how does it actually work?
Okay, so every single cell in your body operates something called a sodium-potassium pump.
Okay.
It's a microscopic mechanism in the cell membrane that constantly pushes sodium out of the cell and pulls potassium in.
Got it.
This electrical gradient is what allows your nerves to fire signals and your muscles, including your heart, to contract.
Oh, wow. So by eating a banana, you are directly funding the electrolyte balance required to keep that cellular machinery running smoothly.
Precisely. It's vital.
Okay, so we've secured the pantry and we've identified the heavy hitters in the produce aisle, but our sources also outline what they call strategic upgrades.
Yes, these are important.
These are items that people traditionally assume are expensive luxuries, like premium complete proteins and fresh berries, where there are actually brilliant budget-friendly workarounds.
Right.
Let's start with the protein upgrade, which is eggs.
The egg is frequently used as the biological gold standard for protein quality.
A gold standard.
Yes. When we talk about protein, we are really talking about amino acids. There are 9 essential amino acids that your body simply cannot manufacture on its own.
You have to eat them.
You have to acquire them through diet to build muscle tissue, synthesize neurotransmitters, and create enzymes.
And eggs have all of them.
They contain all 9 in a highly digestible, perfectly balanced ratio. It is a complete structural blueprint for human tissue.
That's incredible.
Whether you are making a vegetable omelet, hard-boiling them for a portable snack, or frying one to put on top of a lentil bowl, eggs offer a massive nutritional upgrade. And it costs a fraction of what you would pay for a premium cut of meat.
Definitely. Okay, the second strategic upgrade is the one that completely changed how I shop. Berries.
Yes.
We all know that blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries are famous for their high antioxidant content and vitamin C. But trying to buy fresh berries out of season will absolutely wreck a grocery budget.
Oh, without a doubt.
A tiny plastic container can cost $6 or $7, and half of them might be moldy 2 days later. So the workaround highlighted in the research is buying them frozen.
This is perhaps the smartest nutritional hack available.
So what does this all mean for frozen fruit? I have to admit, I always had a hypothesis about this. I assumed that the fruit destined for the freezer aisle was just the reject fruit,
Oh, interesting.
like the stuff that wasn't pretty enough to sell fresh. And I figured that by buying the frozen, slightly ugly berries in a big plastic sack, I was sacrificing the vitamin C and the antioxidants. I think you, listening right now, might be wondering the same thing. Does the freezing process destroy the nutrients?
It is a very common assumption, but the reality of the food supply chain proves the exact opposite. Yes. Produce that is bound for the fresh produce aisle often has to be picked before it is fully ripe.
Oh, so it can survive days or weeks of transportation.
Exactly. It needs to survive the warehouse storage without rotting. But it slowly degrades, losing nutritional value every single day it sits on a truck or a shelf.
Because it's still biologically active and slowly dying.
Yes, cellular respiration is still occurring. Conversely, berries, destined for the freezer aisle, are typically allowed to stay on the vine until their absolute peak of ripeness.
Which is when they have the most nutrients.
That is the exact moment their antioxidant and vitamin profiles are at their highest. They're picked and then flash frozen within hours.
And what does flash freezing actually do?
It drops the temperature so rapidly that it halts all enzymatic degradation. It physically locks the vitamin C, the fiber, and the antioxidants in a state of suspended animation.
That is so cool.
So when you thaw those berries weeks later for your oatmeal or your smoothie, their nutritional profile is often vastly superior to the out-of-season fresh berries that have been degrading in a shipping container for 2 weeks.
That is incredible. Plus, because they are frozen, the shelf life is virtually indefinite. You scoop out exactly what you need, put the bag back in the freezer, and your food waste drops to absolute zero.
Which is huge.
It is. Which perfectly leads us into the final crucial piece of our deep dive. Knowing what the foods are, the oats, the beans, the cabbage, the frozen berries, is useless if our methodology for buying them is flawed.
Exactly.
The sources lay out a smart shopper's playbook to maximize these savings.
The logistics of shopping are just as vital as the ingredients themselves. The data points to a few major strategic habits. First, leaning heavily on the frozen produce mechanism we just discussed, but also being strictly disciplined about seasonality when you do buy fresh.
Right. If you demand fresh asparagus in December, you are forcing the supply chain to fly it in from another hemisphere. And the premium you pay at the register is largely just aviation fuel and logistics, not nutrition.
Exactly. Eat what the earth in your region is naturally producing right now.
Makes total sense.
Another major lever is overcoming the stigma of store brands. This circles entirely back to your designer t-shirt analogy.
A white cotton shirt.
Exactly the same concept. A massive percentage of store brand dry goods, The rolled oats, the canned beans, the frozen vegetables are processed in the exact same agricultural facilities as the heavily marketed name brands.
Wait, really? The same exact facilities?
Off, yes. They're simply packaged in a different wrapper at the end of the line. Refusing to buy the store brand is often just volunteering to pay for a corporation's advertising budget.
Wow. The research also emphasizes buying dry goods like lentils and whole grains in bulk bins whenever possible because you aren't paying for the packaging. But the insight that really stopped me in my tracks was about what happens after we bring the food home. The sources point out that food waste is essentially a massive hidden tax on your grocery budget.
This raises an important question about our habits. Food waste is a profound drain on resources. When we fail to plan our meals for the week, we buy aspirational ingredients that we don't actually have time to cook.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
If you end up throwing away half a bag of slimy spinach, a moldy block of cheese, and forgotten leftovers every single Sunday, you aren't just losing food. You are literally taking 20 or 30% of your grocery budget and dropping it directly into the trash can.
Spoiled food is a 100% tax rate on your money.
It really is.
The overarching theme here is so empowering, I think, because the goal isn't to convince you to spend more money to achieve health. It is about making significantly smarter, scientifically grounded choices with the money you are already spending at the store.
Exactly. A healthy plate does not need to be a complex, premium-priced puzzle. If you focus on simply getting a solid source of protein, some dietary fiber, fruits, vegetables, and complex carbohydrates onto your plate, your biology will thrive.
Yeah, because the perceived complexity of human nutrition is largely manufactured by the wellness industry. Complexity sells products. Simplicity, unfortunately, doesn't generate high profit margins.
Very well said.
Let's bring this all together. We've explored a powerful roster today. 10 foods that can fundamentally upgrade your cellular health without straining your bank account.
A great list.
We have the beta-glucan in oats, the prebiotic fiber in beans and lentils, the complete amino acids in eggs, the flash-frozen antioxidants in berries, plus the provitamin A in sweet potatoes, the healthy fats in peanut butter, the omega-3s in canned tuna, the glucosinolates in cabbage, and the potassium pump fuel in bananas.
None of these are exotic.
Yeah.
None of them require a specialty store to locate.
Right.
Yet they provide the complex carbohydrates, the essential fatty acids, and the vital micronutrients required to build and maintain a highly resilient human body.
You can achieve exceptional nutrition on almost any budget. It just requires stepping away from the marketing hype and looking at what a food actually does for you on a biological level. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Eat well and shop smart.
I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder as you go about your week. We've seen today how much of the wellness industry is driven by premium pricing and marketing hype.
Absolutely.
But consider the bigger picture of our global supply chains. As climate change makes agricultural yields less predictable, and as global shipping becomes increasingly expensive, relying on imported, out-of-season superfoods is going to become even more of an extreme luxury.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Mastering how to cook and thrive on these durable, shelf-stable, and locally grown foods isn't just a clever budget hack for today. It might actually be the ultimate survival skill for navigating the future of food.
Remember that glowing aura in the high-end health food aisle? Now you know exactly what it's made of, and you can just walk right past it. Catch you next time.